You might remember a couple of years ago we did an incredible boat test on a high performance Say 42. It was the same as this, albeit a different colour because this is a different boat. But yeah, amazing thing, very, very high performance. Well, we've brought out a bigger one. Here we go. This is the Say 52. So 52 foot long. It's got the Pete step hull, the same as this one. So a very, very efficient hull, and it's a full carbon fibre build. So you're looking at just over 8 tonne complete, even with things like the hard top, with a gyro stabiliser, with twin diesel engines in it. It is, for the length of boat, incredibly light, and of course that has big benefits in terms of both the performance and the efficiency. I've often mentioned the passerelles that come out of the back and tilt up as steps onto the quay, or tilt down as steps into the water. Well, we're seeing one in action here. This is tilted up as steps to the quay, so this is how we're getting on board, but this thing will drop flat, level, and then telescope back inside. There we go. But it has the same incredible design as this one, just scaled up. As I mentioned, it's all carbon fibre build, and then it's painted, so you can have whatever colour you want. This one's in the white, this one's in this beautiful metallic silver grey, but there's all sorts of choices there that you can choose from. Back here, a couple of things to point out back here. Actually, this is an interesting one. I like this a lot. So this one here is, there we go, a C-bob locker. And what it does is those rams there are designed so that you can hinge that down into the water, power it down, float your C-bob into it, hinge it back up, the water runs back out that grill at the back there, you can charge it in there, and you don't have to keep hoiking them in and out of the water. You just float it into that little garage and power it back up. That's a really, really nice idea, that, because they're quite heavy, they can be. There we go. Let's drop that one back down and close that again. What else can I show you? Lots of interesting things. I like this. These are for carbon fibre bimini poles. They come out of here, one each side, and it allows the bimini to attach to the trailing edge of the hardtop and give you a bimini, obviously, a bit of shade. But what's neat is they fitted them in here. That is the actual pole for the bimini. So that pulls out and goes into there. And there's a little button here we can press, and this will then power up at the back. Now we're at a boat show, and this is full of gear at the moment, so please excuse that, but just so that you can see what we've got here. There we go, big deck locker for extra cushions and, I don't know, inflatable paddle boards or whatever else you want to keep in there. It's quite a big locker. The engines are underneath here. I can't get to today because there's so much stuff, but these panels lift up. I've got a cutaway photograph for you, and in this one it's got a pair of Volvo Penta D6 440 horsepower engines, and interestingly they're on stern drives, which you will almost never find on a 50-foot boat. It's only possible because this is so light and efficient with that Pete step hull and the carbon build, and it means that this boat will do over 40 knots and cruise therefore at 35, and the range as well is really good on this, because at 30 knots you've got 300 miles and at 20 knots you've got 500 miles of range. But it's down to that lightweight, as I say, just over 8 tons, fully spec'd with a Seakeeper on a 50-foot boat is dramatic. Let's power that one back down. There we go. More neat details. We like a bit of hinge action. Check these out. How nice are those? So those can be lifted up and locked in position to give you obviously a backrest for relaxing against if you want to. Again, you're seeing this carbon build everywhere. It is very exquisite, but it makes it very, very strong and very, very light. That's the whole point of it. If we come up a bit further forward, everything, the whole construction, as you can see, is carbon. We've got lockers back here for life jackets or other bits and pieces that you want, and then there's this dining area here. We've got storage underneath the seats. This table is height adjustable. If you want to drop it down and make a great big day bed there, then you can do. And if we come forward again, This is your bar area. Now this is very much a sort of a day boat, weekender style of boat. They're absolutely not trying to compete with Princess and Sunseeker and people like that. It's not that sort of boat. It's all about speed and lightweight and performance. So this is your galley area basically up here. So you've got your hob up here, you've got your sink. There is an ice chest here, quite literally. And then underneath here, we've got the drawer fridge. Like so, or drawer fridges to be precise, and then storage and that kind of thing on there. So it's sort of it's a picnic boat really. You're not going to be doing cordon bleu cooking there, that's for sure, but certainly enough to take out some food and do a good picnic. Come forward again. This is what we're talking about, electrically height adjustable, really lovely seats. Look at these lift bolsters on here. We've got footrests that drop down thusly, and then the business end is here. Check this out. That is impressive, isn't it? It's joystick control, although it's not IPS, it is stern drive. You can still have joystick control for those stern drives, and that's what that is there. We've got obviously then throttle controls here, and then it's all glass cockpit. So we've got Garmin screens here and here, smaller ones here and here, Volvo instrumentation then displayed in the centre. Bow thruster on here as well, very helpful for a boat of this length on stern drives, and a bit of storage tucked away for your phone and other bits and pieces in places like that. There we go. It's nice, isn't it? Big carbon fibre hardtop on here. Speakers are built in to these sections, and then there are subwoofers about the place. There we go, you can see one down there, and there's another speaker up here, so good sound system on here. What else was I going to show you? There's something else here that this does, and I can't remember what it is. Oh, that just releases the top. That was it. Yeah, that's what that does when that's secured. Steps up onto the side decks. We'll go and take a look at that in a moment, but I'll take you inside first of all. Now this is what I'm talking about, where this is just a high performance weekender really. So you have got space down here to sleep. You've got a little bit more galley space, but yeah, it's not full of cabins and things. They're going to do alternative layouts in here, so it's going to have the option to have a separate forward cabin if you want it. This is the open plan layout. You do have a nice little dinette area down here. It's quite nice because it's air conditioned, so you can get in here and get out of the heat in the middle of the day if you want to. That's rather nice. Behind me then, things like the wine cooler, bits of storage about the place. Another little Garmin repeater display there. Sink underneath there. There we are. This is boat number one. This is the very, very first one, and it's its first appearance here. So it's brand spanking new. Look at this. This would be fantastic underway, wouldn't it, with these windows in the hull like this? How cool would that be? Remarkable. And then look at the ceiling as well. Big glass panels. And a gentleman stood there looking manly and thoughtfully into the distance, considering the purchase of one of these, no doubt. Ensuite? Not ensuite, what am I talking about? Heads, that's force of habit, isn't it? I'll do that out later. Heads is in here. This is quite neat because this door here is the door to the heads, but it's also, when that's open like that, the door to the shower, which is in behind here. See how that fits in there? And then closes off. So you can have that, okay, rainfall shower, closed so you don't get everything wet in here. It's nifty, isn't it? And then of course your loo and your sink. And your mirror wave. No boat's complete without it. I suppose there's a bit of storage in behind here as well, isn't there? Yes, there is. There you go. Making up as we go along now. Brilliant. Okay, let's back out of here. Got some AV equipment in here as well. Yeah, it's, as I say, it's a weekender. Let's press on a little bit further. There we go. Don't mind me. Lovely. They're going to change some of these designs a little bit. does nobody know how to use a telephone properly anymore? They always use them on speaker, don't they? This here, they're going to extend that out flat to the edge, and then the step will be here as you go on, so you haven't got that situation of accidentally stepping sideways and dropping into that bit. So again, as I say, boat number one, there's going to be some detail changes, always the way with these. When you get the first one, there are things where they think, well, hang on, that could be a bit different and it could be better. Some really good steps up onto the side deck, make it a very easy boat to walk around. And look how this hardtop, look how long it is, and yet it's unsupported at the front. And it's because it's so light and strong, because it's carbon fibre. And that, I'm told, believe it or not, will take the weight of somebody stood at that end of it. Imagine that. The white sections that you can see here are lighting, and I think it's colour changing lighting as well. So if you want to have, or whatever you want, obviously, then you can dial it up there. These big glass panels that are above the cabin where we were a minute ago, and these little hooks here are for sunbathing cushions that you can put on here if you want to. If you come right up to the bow, then got a little hatch there at the front, and then the anchor handling kit is all in here, and you've got the pop-up cleats there as well. And it's interesting when you come up here, because I mentioned it's a 52-foot boat and the other one was a 42-foot, but look at the size difference. That's the 42 just there. People think, well, it's only another 10 feet. It's going to be the same boat but slightly bigger, but it's not, is it? This is the thing that I think it's difficult to grasp sometimes. Sometimes you see a boat for sale and it's like a 50-footer and it's twice as much as a 40-footer, and you can't understand why. And it is because it is twice the boat. And it's because the extra beam, the extra height, all that kind of stuff, it just becomes a much more of everything. So this is the carbon fibre hardtop up here. This is the lighting that we mentioned, the white sections again, and you've got glass sections here as well. Then right up here we've got, of course, radar, the satellite dome, the GPS navigation antennas, horn, all that kind of stuff. That's up there on the top. There we go. It's a cool machine, isn't it? But again, look how big this cockpit is. So you've got the seating up here, and of course it goes right to the back, and compare it with the boat next door. Not to suggest for a second there's anything wrong with that, but the point is, yeah, you go up a bit bigger in size from 42 to 52, and the extra boat that you actually get is dramatic. It's hugely, hugely different. But I must urge you, if you've not seen the sea trial of one of these, we had a blast, an absolute blast on one of those out here in Palma. So check that out. I'll put a link actually in the description, and hopefully a little box will come up at the end with it as well. And that, my friends, is about the size of that, I think. I think we've covered it, haven't we? It's a complex boat in terms of the construction performance, but it's a simple boat in terms of the layout. It's just a go faster weekender, really, and there's nothing wrong with that. As I say, they are in a very, very different market to the likes of Princess in terms of the speed and the seakeeping and the efficiency. That's remarkable. All right, let's come right up forward. I think we'll finish up here right on the bow. These are for a bimini for up here as well, these circular sections, similar sort of deal to we saw at the back, because of course with sunbathing cushions on here on a hot day you might want a bit of shade. There we go. Absolutely fantastic. That, I think, agree, is something rather different. I'm going to say massive thanks to Say Carbon Yachts. They've organised this tour. I'll put a link to those guys in the description, and massive thanks as ever to you guys for watching. That, I think, is a really fascinating boat. Let me know what you think. Catch you on another one of these real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.